Okay, so what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen other pairs we'll be analyzing today, but make sure you do stay to the end of the video because I do have a bonus pair in store, so make sure you do stay to the end to find out which pair that is. But yeah, guys, we'll go through my trades for the week first. So only 2 trades, and then we'll go into the video. If there's a particular pair you want to skip ahead to or you want to see my analysis from, feel free to use the timestamps down below. But yeah, I had 2 positions this week, 1 win on Euro Pound and 1 loss on USD CHF. I did share the Euro Pound trade breakdown, so all the reasons why I took the trade in a separate video, so go check that out, link in the description, or just go on my channel, you'll see there probably my most recent upload. So yeah, USD CHF, I was long on this one. Had a nice entry on this candle here on the hourly time frame on Wednesday. That was, I got taken out on this candle here, and you know, even if I didn't get taken out on that candle, this move would have definitely taken me out the trade. But I was looking for some more dollar strength to come into the market. We did see on a few pairs temporarily before we did absolutely melt to the downside for dollar. So we did see some Euro USD weakness and Pound USD weakness. I was going to expect to see USD do that same thing to the upside, of course. However, it was short-lived and the market absolutely tanked to the downside, breaking through that structure and really having a big drop, which I was not expecting to see. So I need to analyze this one separately, but that was the loss I had this week. And Euro Pound had a nice win on this pair on the retest of this support level on the hourly time frame. Had a nice entry after this candle there on Tuesday, and a nice move back up into this area here. So nice win, nice loss for the week. Again, not trying to force it, managing risk and knowing when to strike and when to hold is very critical when trading. But those are my trades for the week. But now onto the interesting stuff, which is the analysis going into next week. So of course, Euro USD flew to the upside, dollar going down. Euro USD is going to do the exact opposite, breaking through these highs. Coming into the week, I was expecting to see some dollar weakness, so I was expecting price to push higher into this zone, and I did say sells from up here do look good. Again, short-lived, the market did rally straight through that level eventually. So for Euro USD, I've been looking on the higher time frames to see where this move could potentially get towards, because this is still our impulsive leg on the market, breaking through structural lows. So we're going to expect some retracement, but I do expect later on the market to continue in this bearish path. So for me, I'm looking at Euro USD from a retracement perspective and just seeing, okay, where could this bullish run potentially head to? There's some clear levels here on the left on the weekly time frame. So we've got the support level here at 1.05250, and obviously we've got this low here as well, around 1.07450. So these are 2 areas where we could see the bear step back in the market come back down. However, for next week, I'm expecting more upside. So from a 4H perspective, you can see we've had price breaking through the highs. What I want to see next is some correction to the downside. Areas of interest I'll be looking at is this area here, and also this resistance which we broke through and never got a retest of. So any one of these 2 areas, I'll look for signs of reversal here to go long, and those are the 2 weekly levels I pinpointed where we could potentially see the bears kick back in and the market turn bearish again for Euro USD. But right now we have broken through that structural high there as well. So from a 4H perspective, it's definitely looking bullish. So next week, I'm looking for buys. If we just rally straight through into these areas, then I'll consider looking for sells around 1.05 and 1.075. But if we come back down, the buys is what I'll be eyeing up first. So looking for some opportunities looking similar to this. Again, targets, I'll play with the targets. I'll either just target the most recent high, or if things look good, I might target those weekly levels. We'll see in terms of risk to reward and entry and all that stuff. But for now, we'll just leave these targets up at that zone. And then if we get there pretty quickly, we'll start looking for sells. Again, not wanting to jump straight in. Things are still very bullish. I'll wait for signs of reversal before looking for entries. But that is what I'll be looking at for Euro USD. So on to next week, still expecting more upside. Hopefully get correction where we can buy it. Areas of interest, we've got 1.01900, we'll call it, and also 1.00850. So there's my areas of interest for buys, and 1.05 is when I'll start looking for some sells. So that's the plan going into next week for Euro USD. Okay, so next up we've got USD JPY. So for this pair, huge moves to the downside. As you can see, we were expecting to see some weakness for USD JPY back into this level here, because the market was making some consistent lower highs. We had 1, 2, 3. So we were looking for the market to continue back to the downside, since every time we rallied, momentum kept failing. So most likely market was going to take out some lows to the downside first, retest some support before going bullish. However, the market gave us no signal to buy here, just broke straight through to the downside. So with this momentum, I do expect the market to correct and probably head to the downside a little bit further. But I'm actually going to be looking for buys for USD JPY, because the market on the higher time frames is still printing higher highs and higher lows. And the last low we just printed was all the way down here. So the market for me is still very much in bullish territory, although we are selling off very hard. You know, we could see the market pick up some support, some level it can't break, before maybe seeing some upside and potentially even coming back to highs. That's still definitely on the cards as well for USD JPY. I am looking at 3 areas of interest. Number 1 being at 139, number 2 being this consolidation, just focusing on those wicks there at 137.5, and this area here as well, which is at 135, pretty much on the dot, 135. So these levels I'm looking at buying opportunities to take it back to the upside. And again, not looking for anything too crazy. If I do get into any buys, I probably won't take it past this area here, which is around the 141 mark, because the market could still continue to downside with all of this momentum. But I will be looking at buy opportunities coming into the week. So for USD JPY, high time frame still bullish. So again, as a person who uses the high time frames to develop bias, you know, I'm looking for longs, although I'm very aware how bearish everything's looking and the momentum in the market. So if I do get into any long opportunities, any long trades, I won't be looking to try and push those trades too far, because most likely the market will have another chance at rolling over to the downside as well. But these are the buy opportunities I'll look at. Again, I'll be monitoring the signs of reversal. I won't be just taking, you know, any just random candle I see on the level. I need to see some signs of reversal, rejection, market, you know, creating a floor, double bottom, head and shoulders, something like that, to tell me that the market's failing, and then I'll look for my long opportunities. But areas of interest: 139, 137, 500, and 135, and looking for a push back up to 141 for next week. Okay, so now onto USD CAD. So this week we did see some downside, which was expected. I did say off the back of my analysis last week, because we did break through these lows here just about this strong move. So I said we're looking for some correction and move to the downside. I was talking about this area here, which we didn't quite come into, but we did see that nice correction and the move to the downside, and we did come into these lows here and eventually into this consolidation, which I wasn't expecting price actually to come into by the end of this week. I thought it was going to take a bit more time, but of course with the market melting like it did, it came to that level there and almost actually all the way down into this level here as well. And this is where I do think we can start to pick up some buys again for USD CAD, because again, the market's been consistently placing higher highs and higher lows. We've ripped to the upside, and the market's coming straight back down into a very key area, which we did not retest when we broke through. So I would imagine here we can probably find some nice buys here. Again, nothing too crazy. We could place a higher low for move back to highs, but there's no point of me predicting that. You know, we'll see what price does, and if we start creating some higher highs going forward, then we can start potentially looking to push it further. But nonetheless, into this area, it looks like a good area of interest. We'll see what we can get from down there, and I do think some buys will look good. And also, if we see some strength for USD CAD to start the week, so we push up first, I do think there'll be some nice sells back down to that level. So it just depends what USD CAD does. You know, if we continue this momentum at the start of the week, potentially might see price just gap down and push through. Then I'll start looking at some signs of reversal to push it back up bullish again. If we start finding feet very early on and we see some upside, I'll be looking at 1.34 to set it back down into 1.35. So it just depends what happens first, really, for USD CAD. because again, my overall bias is a little bit more neutral. I'm just seeing what price does. I mean, if my analysis is correct for Euro USD and DXY, then we should see some DXY strength coming back in eventually and that overall bullish trend continue. But for now, things are looking particularly bearish. So I'm not trying to, predict the future or anything. I can clearly see the market's bearish right now. So if the market does have a correction to the upside, I will be looking to sell it back down again and just stay with the 4H trend. But at the same time, this is a very strong level, that we could be seeing buyers step back in at. And I'll be seeing what type of price action we get there for some buys back up into 1.34. So that's the plan going forward for USD CAD. Buys from 1.315 and sells for 1.34. Just playing that range and seeing whatever setup comes first, really. So that's the plan going into next week. And now we've got Euro Pound. So Euro Pound this week, nice move to the upside, back into this area here. I was actually talking about price potentially coming to that area. Didn't quite make it, but I'm still expecting more upside for Euro Pound. So go into next week, I do think the buys will still be looking just as good as this week, and for a push into 0.88600, which is those highs up there. And we may even go higher as well and break through. But nonetheless, this is a strong level, big strong move to the downside. You don't really want to be holding trades past that point. If you are, you want to be taking most of your profit just in case price does turn around from that level. But the market has broken through the structure here on the left. You can see we did have this bearish structure in place. This was our last lower high in the market. So we had low, lower high, low, lower high, equal lows, break of that, new higher high. So looking for retracement for another push to the upside. I don't mean to hit the head and shoulder there, but looking for a move back up into that level. So with this, we've got a very critical level of support the market's created where we're not breaking through. So as long as we can stay above 0.87, I will be expecting to see a move back up into Euro Pound. Even if we do fake the level, as long as we don't use it as resistance to continue back down. So we potentially could fake it, get back above and then buy. So it's still basically the same setup, just with the fake out. But if we start retesting it and come back down again, I do think we'll probably see some nice buys, but I would not look to push it as far into 0.88600, because at that point we might be getting a bit of a head and shoulder here to actually see a reversal back down again. But nonetheless, price is still above 0.87, so I will be looking for buy opportunities into that same target this week. So this will be the plan for Euro Pound, looking at buys, hoping we can get another retest, double bottom, and then we'll look for entries on the hourly back up to 0.886, 885 for next week. And now we've got AUD USD. So again, flying to the upside, dollar weakness helping this drive to the upside, snapping through those highs. But we are coming to areas where I do think the market could start to look to turn over and turn bearish again, because I'm still looking at us coming back down to this candlestick low, which came so close into. You can see we have this critical level here at 0.7, which the market has broken through. So as long as we stay below that, I'm expecting price to come back into this candlestick low, the COVID candlestick on the monthly time frame, and eventually the candlestick wick over here, which is the low created from that COVID crash there. So I'm still expecting the market to tumble over, and I'm just viewing the upside right now on AUD/USD and the other dollar pairs pretty much as retracement. So coming into this level here, we'll start to be looking at some short opportunities, not straight away. We'll wait for some signs of reversal first, and then I'll look to short it back down again. I do think buys still look good because we have been printing higher highs and higher lows in the market here. So I do think, with this bullish structure, we'll probably be able to find some nice buys down here. But again, I do think the shorts are still where the money's at, so I would not be looking to push these buys too far. Even the lower time frames, you can definitely snap some nice buy opportunities, but I do think the sells is the bigger move. So this is what I'll be looking at for AUD/USD. Again, similar to USD CAD and USD CAD and Euro USD, looking for some short-term opportunities to take advantage of the dollar weakness now, but I still think the dollar strength will be coming pretty soon, if not next week, the week after, sometime by the end of the year. I do think we'll be trading back at these lows again. So as of right now, things are still pretty bullish. So again, you want retracement if you are looking for buys. This is certainly in a level of resistance now, so there are no good buys in my opinion, at least for AUD/USD. But if you can have a correction back down into 0.655, I do think there will be some nice buys back up again. And likewise, if you do see some nice resistance here and development there, I will be looking for signs of reversals to sell the market. And again, nothing too crazy. I'm not looking for the home run, just a push back down to that level. Eventually, yes, we might get there, but I like to take it in 2-3 trades rather just one big move. So that's the plan for ADUSD. Looking at shorts from 0.671. If we break through that, we've got that monthly zone around 0.69 to 0.7 up there as well, so we'll keep that in mind. But looking for shorts from that level and longs from 0.655, yeah, 0.655 for next week for ADUSD. Okay, so next up we've got NZD CAD. So NZD CAD is still pushing to the upside, new highs with this one. I've been looking at sells for this one for some time now. However, you can see the consistent higher highs and higher lows the market's been placing here. So again, haven't really got a valid sell opportunity because the high lows are still intact. I want to see that break of structure before I look to get short. And ever since we came into this area, starting to see some signs of reversal, we broke above, retested that support, and flying to the upside. However, the main lower highs in the market are still intact, as you can see on the daily time frame. Our last one being up there, giving us this low. So again, we'll be looking at some signs of reversal coming into this area here. You can see this is the resistance, the market faked before having that big dump to the downside. So 0.81387 could be an area that we consider the market rolling over from. If I do whip out the old Fibonacci, you can see the market is pretty much coming into that 0.786 level there as well. So do you have some nice confidence around this area, but nonetheless we need to wait for the market to print some good signs of reversal. If you can see some head and shoulder forming, double tops, break of structure in this area, that's when I'll consider going short actually on NZD CAD. If not, we could still rally and push straight through like we've been doing for the past few days now. So NZD CAD, only looking at shorts just to stay with the higher time frames. Of course, if you are bull in this market, AK on the low time frames, really, I do think buys will still be looking good here at 0.8200. Again, nothing too crazy because we are some areas of resistance where we could topple over. So again, just taking advantage of those smaller moves, take what you can and then leave. But I will be looking for the signs of reversal coming into these areas here for bigger moves to the downside. Again, nothing too crazy. I think targets for me will either be this level or that price swing low, this consolidation here, because again the market can still rally to the upside. Once we break structure, then I'll start looking for some further targets to the downside, but for now we'll just play it cool at 0.79600 and some temporary buys just because the market is still printing us that bullish structure back to highs for next week as well. So I'm a bear in this market looking for sales. We'll see what type of price action we can get at 0.81400, which is where price is trading at. And that's why I look for my sales back down to that prior swing low. Okay, so over to pound NZD this week. So basically consolidation this week, but the bias is still the same coming into this week as it was last week. Looking for shorts, looking for a move back down into this area here, as you can see at 1.89. Reason being we had this massive head and shoulder reversal pattern here. Oh, did not mean to do that. This massive head and shoulder reversal pattern. Market's gone from making higher highs to making lower highs and snapping through a critical level of support. And most importantly, with a lot of momentum as well. So we're looking for a lower high to form like we've been doing here, the high, the low, the high, the low. Now we're looking for the new high. Potentially could be here, potentially we could see one more drive before the drop, but we are looking for that lower high to snap through these lows into this support. And we've got all this momentum on the weekly here with that big bearish candle, looking for that to continue back into these lows here, which are around 1.89. So looking at some more downside for pound NZD. Now we're just looking for areas of interest. Let me get rid of this. Again, we do have this level the market did fake out towards the end of the week here, as you can see with this push here, then retesting the resistance. So hope the market can come back, retest that level and get some entries to go down, or fake it again, tap into the neckline of the pattern, which is up there, which would be nice as well, which is trading around the 1.95750 level. And then again, still looking for the exact same idea, which is for more shorts to the downside. Again, with targets, 1.89 is where I expect it to eventually head up, but again, you don't necessarily have to look to push it that far. We've got some clear lows around here. The market's struggling to break through, which is trading at around 1.92700, and also this level here as well, which is that prior low. These all are perfectly nice targets. Or if you want to push the trade further, we've got 1.89, which is also looking pretty likely, but we'll see, of course, as things develop. But for direction and targets, expecting more downside. Areas of interest, 1.94400 and 1.95700, and looking for push into 1.89 for next week. And now on to CAD Yen. So CAD Yen broke out the consolidation finally this week. I was looking for us to break to the upside back into 110 and just see a continuation of the higher time frame trend, which is again still bullish. However, we broke to the downside with a lot of momentum coming into this level here. So immediately I'm still looking for buy opportunities here for CAD Yen. We've had a crazy move to the upside. This is our price swing low. Giving us that high, again, correction to the downside. Potentially could be seeing a bit of a bull flag there for the market to snap bullish again. However, coming to these areas with all that momentum and that consolidation, I will actually start be looking for some sell opportunities, looking for that third lower high for potentially reversal, counter trend move. We could be seeing a bigger down move there for CAD Yen. So onto the 4H time frame to start the week off, if we can see some nice rejection around here, I do think buys will be looking very, very good to start the week off. And then late in the week, if you come up to some of these areas, we'll be looking to sell the market. So a retest of the range here around 107.5. Let me just tidy that up. Around 107.5, and also into this level here, 106.500, which is sort of like a bit of an unorthodox head and shoulder. You got the left shoulder there, the head, and the right shoulder. Still the same concept of markets create resistance, fake the resistance, back underneath it, retest it to continue back to the downside. So we'll be looking at sells at 106.500 and at the retest of the range, since we broke through with a hell of a lot of momentum and never really got a retest of that. So if you were to revisit that area, most likely we'll see a nice bearish reaction to the downside from 107.5. So we'll be looking at some sells up there. But to start the week off, we're obviously trading at critical level of support. I'll see what type of reaction we can get, closer to when the week starts. So Monday London session, see what we're seeing there, because we could just gap down and continue going further, which will invalidate that setup. But if we start rejecting that level, we'll be looking at some buys to the upside, and then later on to sell it back down again. So that's my plan going to head into the next week with CAD Yen. And now we've got Pound USD. So Pound USD, again, similar to Euro, breaking through the highs, giving us some new highs past that point. But I'm still looking at this colossal level here on the monthly time frame, which was, a very critical level of support for Pound USD. But now will be turn resistance. I'm looking to see if we can probably see a move into that level, or maybe again continuation of the bearish trend. Obviously, right now things are looking pretty bullish. Nice counter trend move right now on Pound USD, which is developing, but similar to Euro USD, I do think the sales will hit hard again soon, but price probably wants to move up a little bit higher first. So again, looking for correction to the downside before buying. This is a nice little level, we could see that, and also this area here as well, 1.17200 and 1.16300. Looking for longs off these two areas here, because again, just want to see some correction first before looking to buy it later on. So Pound USD for me, high time frames is still bearish. The last major lower high in the market was all the way up there. If you zoom out, you can see the structure of the market here. We've got the low, lower high, low, lower high, low. The market could still give us something on the drop to the downside, but we're focusing on this price action for now, which is still bullish, hence why we're still looking for buys until maybe later on we might see the market come up and give us some nice signs or reversal to go back down again, but we have to be patient for that. So on the short term, Pound USD, or short medium term, looking for longs for Pound USD back up to the 1.2, big psychological level as well. The market could be drawn to that area. or you can look for a push back to highs depending, you know, how far you want to push the trade. But that level, I do expect the market to be drawn to that, at least for a retest. We might break above, we'll see when we get there, of course. But pound USD, bullish price action, looking to continue that into next week. So areas of interest 1.172 and 1.163 for next week. Okay, so now on to pound CAD. So pound CAD this week, I was looking for price to roll over. We had that nice strong down move which broke through structure here on the left, really strong down move, so looking for retracement for the market to sell off again. I did give out a couple areas, this area here which we broke through pretty early on in the week. I did say a retest of this structure here would be nice as well. Didn't quite get there, we rolled over, then we eventually did, and the market is breaking through that. So with pound CAD, the structure is a little bit hit and miss with this one. We do have bearish structure because we broke through this, now we're placing in bullish structure again. So the chances are the market most likely will head up to this high here, and then I do think there'll be some nice sells before a move back down again. So pound CAD short term, I do think bulls are in control of this market, so push back up to 1.58 does look good, but I do think it will probably be short-lived. I could be wrong, we could snap through, of course, but in terms of actually trading it, you do want to be securing profit around these areas or looking to exit the trade, because I do expect sellers to be stepping back in. We might see a big collapse, which is what I'm looking for, or we might see price break through those highs and start maybe actually placing a big reversal from this bearish trend to a bullish trend. We'll have to see eventually, but as for right now, pound CAD snapping through those highs, looking for retracement for a higher low. As of area of interest, we're looking at 1.56, pretty much on the dot for some long opportunities back up into that level there at 1.58, and that's when I'll start looking for some sales to take it back down again. It depends how far, because we've got some lows down here we can get to, but obviously around here could be a nice target, but I'll probably just keep it to this area here. Might secure profit around there. We'll see how things look, but yeah, pound CAD sells at 1.8 look good, but as for the short term, buys are still the best bet into those highs at 1.56. So hopefully we can get some sales for this one, because that's the bigger move I'm focusing on. But for now, I do see some more upside for pound CAD into next week. Okay, so now on to pound yen. So pound yen this week, we did see some nice buys to start off the week. We were trading at this area. I did say, previously this is where the buys are sitting. Nice strong reaction from this area. So we were expecting to see an up move, but I did say don't be too greedy, because there are some signs the market is starting to tire. Very strong retracements, heavy retracements, not a good sign. Frequent retracements as well, it's not a good sign of a healthy market. So I did say coming into these areas, look to take a profit, because we could reverse, and then coming into this level where you can see the market did roll over and break through that structure. So with pound yen, we have broken through these lows here on the left, so I do favor some more downside for pound yen upon some retracement. Next lower high in the market, you can see we've got the high, well, the low, sorry, the high, the equal low, the lower high, the lower low. Now I'm waiting for a lower high for another lower low. The higher time frames are still bullish, so again, with these shorts, I'm not trying to be too greedy. This is still a very, very strong level of support level, which we could look to target, where the market could potentially snap bullish again and see some more upside. Overall, the trend is a little bit tired as well, so I do think it could be time for a bigger counter trend move or reversal for pound yen. If we snap through this level, very, very likely indeed, but nonetheless the high time frames do look like they're running out of energy. So the shorts look good in the 4H on some retracement. We might retest this level here or come a little bit higher into this area here potentially. Nice wicks and nice snap to the downside around 167. Those are a couple areas I'll be focusing on for some short opportunities, and we'll see how we get going. Likewise, I do think there'll be some nice buys down at 161 as well, but for now, focused on the shorts to start with, and then if we get down there late in the week, we'll start looking for some buys there, and potentially might not even make it down there by the end of next week as well. So shorts, we'll be looking at 161, down there it will be the target. And areas of interest, we've got break and retest of this critical support at 165.300, and also that level there at 167. So that's the plan going forward into next week for pound yen. And now we're going to take a look at gold. So gold rallied very strongly to the upside this week. I was looking for shorts for this one, however, didn't really get a short opportunity to actually take advantage of any downside. And frankly, we didn't really see any downside, did we? We broke through these highs there. So I did say potentially could get some shorts on the retest of this structure as long as we didn't break back above these highs. We actually got above that, consolidated, and then flew to the upside again. So the market was extremely bullish this week for gold. Again, even difficult to find some nice buys unless you got involved at these areas here. You know, the market didn't really have much retracement even if you were looking for buys. If anyone did manage to capture some buys, well done indeed. The market has had now a very strong close back above 1700. So we could be looking at this momentum taking us into 1800, which is into that price swing high up there on the weekly, where potentially you could see the market come back down again. Again, not looking for anything too crazy, but with current momentum, I would expect us to push into 1800. So like Euro USD, like Pound USD, we're looking for a correction to see this momentum continue. As for areas of interest, we've obviously got the high down there, which the market broke through with no retest. We've got this area here as well. The market is starting to slow down a little bit corrective. So if you can see one more down move, that would be very nice indeed from gold, and we can take advantage of those buys into 1800, which is trading around there. Again, it might not be specifically 1800 on the dot, but into this kind of zone here where the market did consolidate and drop and find support there a couple of times. You know, this is a level where the market most likely will be attracted towards them, and we'll probably see some higher time frame sellers step into the market as well. So looking at some long opportunities there for gold. I doubt we'll probably see a correction back down to 1730. But if we do, again, still looking for those buys. We've had the impulse, now waiting for correction to buy it back up again and targets into that 1800 level. So gold this week, crazy bullish move, clearing 1700 very easily. Now we're looking for correction to take it back into 1800, where there could be some nice sells, but we'll wait for some more development before we start looking to short gold again. So we're looking for some correction. Areas of interest, we've got 1755 and 1730, buys back up to 1800 for next week. And now we're on to the infamous Bitcoin. So as you can see, crazy sell-off this week. We did see the market print that lower high. I was looking for us to continue it into this area first. Didn't quite make it before we did have an absolute crazy down move. Yeah, I wasn't expecting the market to do that so soon, but we have cleared these lows here with a lot of momentum as well. So again, we still do have the areas down here, which we've been talking about ever since we broke through 30k through those lows there. You know, this is the clear level of interest, you know, with that price swing high there as well. We could be seeing the market slowly work its way back down to 12k. We've had this crazy down move, so I do think some retracement is what you want to be looking for before stepping into any buys, any sells again for Bitcoin. A little bit corrective. If you can see another up move, maybe back into this level there, that could be an area to consider looking for sells, or even slightly higher into this level here, into 18,700, we'll call it 18,600, 18,700, which lines up with that broken support there as well. So looking for some correction to the downside. Again, the high time frames for Bitcoin are still bearish. We have been consolidating for a few days, but we have been consistent with the lower highs in the market, and obviously now we've cleared all that structure. We're expecting retracement and then some continuation now for Bitcoin. So again, I would wait for some more upside. We could double top it here. We might push up one more time, create a bit of a bull flag here, bear flag, sorry, something like this before the continuation, or we might double top it there. So those would be my areas of interest. As for targets, probably keep it simple, back down to the lows. I'm looking on the left here, there is not too much we can really look at. There's obviously the key level down 12k, 13k down there. We've got some lows here you could probably look to target as areas of interest, just using the 4H structure to map them out. But I'll probably just keep in mind we've got the low there and this critical low there that we're slowly working our way towards. So for next week, looking at something like this for the retest of that structure, or if we can get a test higher up, better risk reward, and again, same target back down to the lows. If you're feeling brave, probably got 12, 13k, but I feel that's probably a little bit too much in this one go. You want price to take a breather first, because you have seen all this momentum clearing a lot of distance. You want price to kind of build up a little bit before we see that next crazy big move. It could happen, of course, but play it down to these lows looks safe and quite probable as well. So Bitcoin bias is short, looking for a correction of this bearish move. Areas of interest, we've got 17,600 and 18,650, back down to lows at 15,700, and then eventually looking at 12K down there. Okay, so now on to our bonus pair and final pair for this video, which is AUD CAD. So AUD CAD, that wasn't really paying attention to this week, but looking how everything is close to the week, the 4H time frame and the higher time frames, I do think the sales are looking very, very good for next week. This market has been placing consistent lower highs in the market. This for me is a bit of a fake move to the upside there, but since then, again, the lower lows and lower highs are still being very, very present. So again, we're coming into that lower high territory, looking for some nice development to go short, and again, eventually looking for a push all the way back down to the lows, which is trading at 0.86075. So on the weekly time frame, we're approaching a pretty key area here as well, which is this low there. You can see key support, big move to the upside, now going to be flipped as resistance, looking for the market to place potentially the next lower high for a move back down again to these lows here. So looking at some sells for AUD CAD, we've pushed past these highs here with a lot of momentum. For me, this is just the market giving us a nice bear flag here. So we've got the very corrective impulse leg here, correction 1, correction 2, coming to this area. I do think we can sell off to the downside, a little bit messy there, sell off to the downside, back down to the lows there. So I'm not looking for the full move in one go, but push down into these areas here, I do think will give us some nice risk rewards, some nice targets to work with from this 0.89 area. But first, things are still pretty bullish, so I'll wait for things to slow down, some lower highs to print before I start looking at executing any positions. But this is the plan I have for AUD CAD going into next week. So 0.89 area of interest, coming to a nice area on the fib as well. If I do map it out, you can see we're coming into a nice area of interest between the 0.5 and 0.618. So looking to see if we can react with that as well, just adding to the confluence. And then from there, looking at a push into 0.88 and potentially 0.8755 and potentially down to those lows. But we could still see some upside as well, before we do head back down to those lows. AUD CAD is a very corrective pair, so it's not a pair that will look to place a move in one go, see what I can get into some key areas, and then take what I can and leave. So that's the plan for AUD CAD going into next week, and that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you have all enjoyed it and found it useful. Again, if you are enjoying the analysis here, please be sure to leave a like button. Let me know in the comments if it helped you trading as well. I'm interested to find out. And if you guys haven't done already, subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any uploads or any streams in the future. But thank you so much for watching the video, guys. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.